What's up, everybody? It's your boy TGK back with another reaction video. This is from the Young Man in the Three, the show, the Dunker Spot. The homie DV sent this to me, told me to check it out. So I said, heck, why not? Let's go ahead and check it out. See what they talking about, right? Again, enough of the fluff. Let's get to the stuff, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. So we're about to see what they talking about. Let me make sure everything looking right over here. It is. All right. Let's see what they're saying. And before we get started, if y'all mind dropping a like on the video, consider subscribing, consider becoming a member, all that good stuff. I host a Mavs pre and post game show and a Midnight Madness on the weekends. But let's get this started.
Some Mavs talk. Like, I remember bringing the center question to you, like, hey, when are we going to see the Lively Gafford switch? To which you were not having that question. And
then we immediately saw the switch.
And then we immediately saw the switch.
Now, I will say, no Mavs fans ever told me about the Derek Lively foul trouble when they first did it. But that's okay.
All right, I don't know enough of these guys, but when you say no Mavs fans have told me about the foul trouble, it's been a thing. It's been a thing. Maybe it's been enough time talking to Mavs fans. We'll say that. I want to give my Mavs fans credit that they know. They know these things. They probably just didn't give us enough time to explain things. You know what I'm saying?
Well, there you go. There you go. So we've had that. You also, gave a little bit of a little ease to Mavs fans not too long ago. It's like, hey, I know it doesn't feel great right now, but like y'all are just kind of flirting with top 10 in offense and defense, et cetera. It's going to be fine. I think it's time for an earnest conversation with Dallas, as they have won 8 of their last 9 games, and they've only had Luka for 3 of those. On the season overall, they are 4th in offense, they are 7th in defense, they're 7th in net rating. One of, I think, 6 teams that are in the top 10 in both. There's another one that I want to talk about a little bit later in the pod. But during this 9-game stretch, they're 2nd in offense, they're 8th in defense, they're 3rd in net rating. And if you want to talk about the egalitarian approach, especially with guys kind of in and out of the lineup, they have 10 players averaging at least 8 points. I think it's 6 in double digits as they get this together. And so Dallas hasn't been a completely new team. Like, they are still hitting some similar notes offensively. Like, this is going to be a heavy pick and roll team. No team in the NBA running double drag or double pick and rolls at a higher rate than the Dallas Mavericks. Naturally, when you have Kyrie, when you have Luka Doncic, again, haven't had them that much during this.
The Mavs are running double PNR, double drag, picks, easily a high screen. What the hell? What the hell does the rest of this say? Hold on, let me remove my camera. The Mavs had 35.5 all ball screens per year. And this year they're around 39. Wow, and that rate increases to 43.3 per 100 with Luka off the floor. Wow. Hey, we're really utilizing basketball plays. Look at that.
Stretch. But when you have those two guys, you have an assortment of screeners that can put strain on defenses. Naturally, you just want to put defenses in the bind and bring those extra guys up. So you're still seeing that, but you have seen more off-ball movement and more off-ball screening. Their off-screen rate is up from last year. It was about 36 per 100 possessions last year. They're flirting around 39 this year. In the minutes and games without Luka on the floor, that rate is up to 43 per 100 possessions. So you are seeing a lot more off-screen usage, a lot more guys attacking off the catch, attacking against tilted defenses in that way. And that's where you have seen so many of the perimeter guys shine. I think Kyrie Irving has had a very underrated / under the radar season. He's been a very efficient scorer. The playmaking has perked up, especially without Luka being there, as he's been recovering from injury. I think the reads have been solid. When Kyrie Irving isolates, he still just strikes fear in the heart of whoever is defending him. Mm-hmm. I believe per second spectrum, it is over 1.2 points per possession on any trip featuring a Kyrie Irving isolation. So when you have the pick and roll package, that is still effective. Mm-hmm. When you're now leaning more into off-ball stuff and you have guys attacking and winning closeouts, and we'll get into that a little bit later. And then your fail-safe, even without Luka being there, is we have Kyrie Irving, who is just one of the best scorers on the planet, and you can't do anything about that. It does give you a blend that defenses aren't really prepared for. And on the other end of the floor, I just
want to give this dude credit. I don't know his name. I wish I knew his name, but those things, those breakdowns to, why that? There we go. The breakdown to what he just broke down, all that stuff was just amazing. That was some great stuff there. I love analytical breakdowns. When you can break it down in that fashion and, basically highlight how impactful Kyrie has been because of the offense and the style that they run, goes to show how and why we've been winning without Luka Doncic, just because how great Kyrie is and can be, and because of how the style of offense we run benefits everybody on this squad. So salute to this guy.
broadly speaking, Dallas has leaned more into the switching this year. Like we saw that perk up after the trades post All-Star break last year. They were a top 10 in switch rate last year. They're top 10 in switch rate this year. With their centers in particular, you have seen more switching, but you've also seen just a level of scheme versatility that I've enjoyed. It hasn't always been perfect, but I think it's going to be important for them as they move forward through this season and as they enter the postseason. Because I think ideally, Derek Lively is the guy that you peg as the guy that can switch, can be up at the level, can operate in the drop, can hedge out when you need him to. Daniel Gafford more so going to be in a drop, and we have seen him in a deeper drop this year, but can creep up to the level. Like even watching the Portland game last night, like there was just a possession where he comes up to the level, he just kind of stays there. It wasn't a hedge, wasn't a blitz, more like contained, was going to stay at the level of the screen. We're going to put 2 on the ball, and you see Dallas's help defense at work. We're peeling in super early. If you have a guy on the perimeter that we do not care about, we are going to show you that we do not care about it. We saw that in the Portland game, saw that in the Utah game. And so being able to mix in that kind of scheme versatility with the fives in particular, I think it's going to help them continue to build out their base. And that's
some great stuff right here. That's some great breakdown. When you watch the game, you don't think of it this deeply in that perspective, but highlighting how Gafford is playing more of a contain style of defense on players you're not concerned about on the perimeter, it makes sense because those are the things that was like an issue for us against like the Celtics, is where they would get our centers in trouble, right, and deep isolation against their good perimeter players. And so that's the trouble we might run into whenever you play a team like the Celtics where everyone can shoot threes. Are we going to still be able to play this style of defense? And so it's working now against teams that don't have that type of depth and type of shooters. But again, it's just something to keep an eye on. That's why it's kind of pivotal to find another backup 4, so you could be able to play that switch style of defense on anybody versus having to kind of scheme things around your centers and what they're able to do versus the style of offensive players they're guarding. So, but a great breakdown stuff right here. This is real good stuff.
It's where you've seen the defense be really good during the stretch. It's been very good overall. And so you just have the makings of a balanced team. And now you add Luka Doncic back to the mix, and he darn near had a triple-double last night as we record on a Monday morning. The best case scenario for Dallas is we have the off-ball movement, we have the pick-and-roll play. Luka and Kyrie at any given moment can just say, I'm taking this game over. And defensively, we have a strong base. We can throw different coverages at you. We can cross-match in different ways. Depending on what our lineups are, we can continue to lean into the switching and flatten you out. And because we help as aggressively as we do and we load up as early as we do, and, I think back to, the Thunder series last year to where Shea got his, and it was a testament to how good he was. But good Lord, he had to deal with a whole bunch of bodies. His size up front, it's a bunch of help defenders you got to drive through. Then you have to deal with either Derek Lively or Daniel Gafford at the rim on top of that. They just layer their defense so well. And so I've just been really impressed with what Dallas has been able to put together. And if, Luka's able to stay healthy, if the group in general is able to stay healthy, this is a really balanced group, a multi-layered group that should pose problems in the Western Conference.
So we're seeing the blend. We're seeing the formula. We're seeing the execution. I mean, this is a team that has won 8 of their last 9 games, only lost 2, 8 of their last 10. If you look at their last 3 losses, have you seen their last 5 losses?
Yeah.
1-point loss to Phoenix, 2-point loss to Denver, 3-point loss to Golden State, 2-point loss to Utah, overtime loss to Miami.
Yeah, it's just there.
Can I ask, why were y'all panicking?
Well,
because of clutch time baskets, bro. It was clutch time. The Mavericks were the best clutch time team last season, and then to start out so poorly this season with clutch time wins. That context matters in this, and it was kind of showing that. I mean, obviously highlights that the chemistry wasn't there yet. Basically, people weren't knocking down their shots yet. Efficiency was an issue for us in the clutch. So that's why we're Mavs fans. We're gonna panic. You know what I'm saying? And people on the outside may have panicked too. But some of those losses were definitely tough, especially some of the decisions that were being made by Jason Kidd at that time. So, if you want to act all cool and calm and collected, then so be it. Bravo to you, right? Not this guy, just anybody in general. But there was cause for concern losing those close games like that and in clutch time. Like that's Luka and Kyrie's bread and butter. And we were not good in those moments, especially with the mental lapses, the defensive lapses, and all that good stuff. After the Utah game, we've been good ever since. But again, that was cause for concern. I'm glad they had that team meeting and got the ship turned around and going in the right direction.
I think to answer for Mavericks fans, I suppose, like Luka gotten off to his, I guess at this point, his usual just slow start to the season. And so, like, there were just some loud moments on defense, and if the shot isn't falling, he's not, compensating for that kind of.
Thank you. Say what I said. Appreciate it. Yeah, again, I don't watch none of these videos. These are all blind reactions. Okay, I don't watch none of it.
But Luka always revs up, to your point. And with Klay Thompson, you see the value add that he has in terms of the spacing, in terms of off-ball movement. He hasn't knocked down shots to his usual degree yet. And so I guess if you were looking at that plus the center situation, to where, hey, what's going on with Lively? Daniel Gafford didn't get off to the greatest start this year. Like, I can see where there was at least some frustration. When you're coming off a finals run, you just want to hit the ground running. So I think that's where some of that just kind of came from.
I asked that to make a larger point. The success you had is not baked into the next season automatically.
Correct. Obviously.
You may not be able to hit those same heights.
Hold on.
The league might be ready for it. It's not easy. Winning is not easy. So I understand the mindset and the expectations, and we should build on this. Every season is different. Every season presents a different journey. I think for me with this Dallas team, them being able to find the blend in the formula has been really important. I think the Oklahoma City game they had really stood out to me as far as we're back to believing what we do defensively, and we're going to keep executing it time and time again. I think the multiple schemes and being able to toss things.
Oh, my God. Yeah, this camera down here is giving me issues.
That was important for them versatility-wise, because you mentioned Gafford at the level against Portland. You've seen Lively be at the level at times. We can mix in the drops. Being able to switch with both your centers important in the playoffs because that's going to give you lineup versatility on top of the fact that if we actually need to, we can play small ball.
Defense.
We have a level of versatility with some of these lineups, with the play of Najee Marshall, with the play of Quentin Grimes, PJ Washington. We could end up mixing and matching some of this down the line if we absolutely have to. So having that in your back pocket is fantastic. I think the point you made about the movement is key. We have more guys we can use in different sets, and we can use that movement to kind of boost our overall attack. And so I think if I had a disappointment with Dallas, it was that at the start, they didn't have that balance. It felt like, okay, we're trying to get Luka going, and which is fair. Luka's an offense to himself. He's going to draw help. We've talked about that time and time again.
Yeah.
But do we have the things to let Kyrie get going in a different way? To use Klay, to get Quentin Grimes going? Once you kind of start to get that, and then you run like a random pick and roll for PJ Washington, then he becomes a screener. You start to get that kind of flow. Yeah. That's when I think Dallas gets really tough offensively. And so I think they're doing what they're supposed to do. I mean, they're fourth in offense, and they're also top 10 in defense. So that's what you want to see. That's a good base. They can continue to build on that, and that's going to set you up for success when it comes to the playoffs. So I really liked what Dallas done.
Yeah. Hey, there's not much to react to because they're hitting all the points and the things and notes that I would like to talk about and hit on when it comes to the Dallas Mavericks, but they're providing another perspective that you can look at and consider as well. It's like yeah, the Mavericks were trying to figure things out early on. We kind of expect this as Mavericks fans with Jason Kidd, but sometimes Jason Kidd does look like a genius with his mindset and his approach and his methodology to the game. And, some take it the wrong way, some take it the right way. I say if the Jason Kidd stays on this path and coaching and gets a top seed, he might be coach of the year. You know what I'm saying? So I'll just leave it at that.
I like it. I guess just to narrow down into some player shout-outs really quickly. PJ Washington has been such a revelation for this group since he's been there. And he was a big part of why Dallas became as good as they were last year. Had some big moments in the postseason. I still don't quite understand the corner three thing with him because it's not like he can't shoot. That's just weird. It's his first 2 years in Charlotte. He shot well from the corners and since then it's been whatever. But getting back on track, this is kind of the PJ that was promised. This is the best case scenario for PJ Washington where I can knock down shots. I can be used as a screener. I can receive on-ball screens and attack. I can attack closeouts. If you just stash a smaller player on me as a default because you are accounting real estate to Kyrie or Luka, whoever's on the floor at that time, I now can attack and beat those mismatches enough to where you at least have to think about showing an extra body.
Yep.
And if PJ Washington adds to the mix of guys that can draw two or add an extra, draw an extra pair of eyes of attention, then you're in trouble as a defense. Like we already got to account for Luka. We already got to account for Kyrie. If Clay is on the floor, even when he isn't shooting well, we can't let him shake free. Yep. And if you're using any of those three guys together in action, it's tough. If PJ Washington also becomes and operates within the context of being a walking mismatch, what do I do with that? And then we're always going to have like Derek Lively or Daniel Gafford lurking around the dunker spot anyway. And so if you do show help, well, that's just a lob over the top. Or if I'm attacking the closeout, if you step up, that's just a lob over the top.
Sick.
And it's just incredibly tough to deal with. And on the defensive end, like I started this morning, like accumulating what my early like all defense teams and stuff look like. I always do the
He gonna put PJ in his all defensive teams? Watch out.
Let's get a list of 35 to 40, and then as the season goes on, we chip it down, that kind of thing. And so like I'm not here to go ahead.
Do you actually chip it down?
I do. That's a good shot though. I well received. But I don't know, I'm not finished with it yet, full disclosure. But like I don't know if I can comfortably make PJ Washington all defense case just firmly, at least not right now. But at the very least, I can confidently say he should be on your like medium to short list.
Yep.
He should be a name that you at least think about before saying no if you're going to say no. He has done a really good job across multiple matchups. And again, this is dating back to when he joined the team. Like one of the earlier things that we talked about post-trade, you hit me with it. Like, hey, the guys, who's PJ Washington guard in that Thunder game? And it's just him versus Shea. I did not anticipate PJ versus Shea over, regular season game, postseason series, another regular season. I didn't anticipate this being as fun of a matchup as it has been, but it's been cool watching PJ Washington sit down. And to your point about the line of versatility, the fact that Dallas haven't done it a lot, but the fact that they have been experimenting with PJ at the 5,
yep,
and it's been working for the most part. Like I think
the death lineup, y'all. Luka, Kyrie, Clay, Najee, and PJ. That's a sick 5 right there. That's
the Luka, Kyrie, Clay, PJ, Najee lineup is a +5 in 24 minutes so far. And then there was like a singular game in which you replace Jaden Hardy with Klay Thompson, or you replace Clay with Jaden Hardy, excuse me. And it's a +9 in 5 minutes. And it's like, oh, well, we need to see that again. Again, that's a combined, 29 minutes? So not enough to say definitively, but like you've had success with smaller lineups. And if PJ is going to defend like this and quietly, and probably just as important, if he's going to rebound like this is a career high in rebounds per game for PJ. If he can actually hold serve at the 5, to your point, you do just have a lot of lineup versatility.
Mm-hmm.
You feel good about the Lively package. You feel good about the Gafford package. And that's what PJ alongside those guys. And again, he can be a walking mismatch on that front. You now downsize, you maintain your help principles, you're able to end possessions, and now, offensively, we can go wherever we want to. Najee can drive and just batter folks if you put a smaller guy on him.
Yep.
If you put a center on him, he can be used as a hub, or he can just beat that center off the bounce anyway. If you're putting a center on PJ, as you mentioned, he can be used as a screener. He has the role and the pop threat because he can knock down shots. During this 9-game stretch, he's shooting 50% from 3, not high volume. But again, he can knock down shots.
He shot 4 of 6 tonight against Memphis. He's been shooting the 3 ball, man. He hit a clutch shot against Portland. He hit the shot against Portland to take the lead when it was tied up with like 50-something seconds ago. PJ is the biggest key for this Dallas Mavericks team. Say it over and over. He is the biggest key. If his shot could go down from 3 consistently, the Mavericks are already deadly. PJ knocking down 3s consistently. Good luck.
You can just dice up teams in so many ways. I've just been really impressed with what PJ Washington has done. What Najee Marshall has done as a guy that can also just fill gaps on both ends of the floor. # the knife. Quentin Grimes, knocking down shots at a very high level, defending well. It feels like he just hit a lot of crucial like run stopping or run capping games. Or run capping 3s, excuse me. He's been huge. Steve, you want a stat that may make you smile on the Quentin Grimes front?
Yeah.
Only 57% of his shots are coming from three this year.
Hey, look at Quentin Grimes, huh? Look what happens when he doesn't just shoot threes. Hey, it's a player who can drive and kick and cut. And not to belabor the point, but I'll ask this question: how often have you been concerned about Dallas's wings this year?
Not that often. Like, I think the closest I get to it has been, it'll be cool when Klay starts knocking down shots.
Think about that context with this Dallas team, where a part of the formula was, well, those guys are going to have to make shots. Or, hey, those guys are going to have to make plays. And now you get to a point where you're watching possessions. It's Quentin Grimes on the perimeter driving, drawing help, kicking to like a Jaden Hardy who also drives. Or PJ Washington driving, Najee Marshall driving. You have a drive and kick element, which can be created by them on their own. But again, you have Luka. We can get you in rotation. We have Kyrie. We can get you in rotation. If we have an assortment of guys understanding their role and being able to make teams pay in different ways, that just sets us up for so much more success down the line. So I think that's probably been one of the most underrated parts of Dallas for me. Those guys living up to what Dallas needs and helping expand that formula.
Yeah. Good. Well said. Najee, Grimes, PJ, and Klay have all been great. They've all been great spots on the Dallas Mavericks. And obviously Klay's three needs to start coming back into fruition. He's shooting it at 36%. Like, it's great, but it's not Klay great, right? But other than that, a position that was difficult for the Mavericks is now a position where you're not worried too much. And that is a great point too. Like, that's a position you're not worried for the Mavs. The wings, you're not. You're not worried about the centers. You're not worried about. You're a little worried about the twos, maybe. I don't know. Hardy as the backup. That's something there. You're not worried about the ones, obviously, but you are worried about the backup four, Maxi Kleber, and that's where they need to address. But the Mavericks just have a well balanced team, and Luka Doncic and Kyrie put it all together, and it's working, bro. It's working.
Again, PJ's been good. Najee's been good. Quentin Grimes having himself one heck of a season, and during this run, averaging darn near 15 points per game, shooting 48% from 3 on 5 attempts. So he is taking and making the threes, but to your point, you also add in the closeout attacks, or you just add the drives, period. Let me get downhill and kick it to some of these other guys who can make plays. It's been good stuff there. Spencer Dinwiddie, you have to take some of the way he shot that and some of the weight he threw that. But in a vacuum, this is 6'5", 6'6", can get to my spots, can get to the line, can knock down shots. And, through the broader context of Dallas, if Spencer's cooking, Kyrie doesn't have to do everything. Luka doesn't have to do everything. If you're putting those guys on the floor together, it can now be like, let's run double drag with Spencer Dinwiddie, and now Kyrie's your first screener and insert big, here's your second. And we can just bend defenses in a different way. Spencer can attack. You can kick it to Kyrie. He can attack or flow into another ball screen. Like, you just have this level of continuity and versatility that's tough to deal with when you have the guard room perform like this. Spencer's been good. Jaden Hardy's been good. And so, again, like, Klay joins the party, and he's already still, he's still being defended like an elite threat when he's out there, as he should be. Once we get another Klay stretch, oh boy. What do you do with that? So, yeah, we've kind of been teasing some Dallas talks throughout the last few pods, but no, this is a very good team. They're now up to 5th in the Western Conference. Again, they've won 8 of their last 9.
They're up to 3rd now.
Top 10 in offense and defense. This is a good group. This is a really good group. I've been impressed with what Dallas has been putting together. Did you have any other Dallas thoughts? Or Okay, fair enough. Well, then I will go quickly.
All right. So yeah, man, that is the dunker spot on the young man in the 3. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Nothing to complain about. Nothing to go crazy about. I thought they had a great analysis and breakdown and perspectives on the Dallas Mavericks. Great stuff. I learned some stuff from it. I'm happy. I'm happy with that. It's like, it's coming together, y'all. It's coming together. We just beat the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies, statistically, defensively, offensively, all that stuff, this was the Mavericks. They were just right above us a little bit, and we found a way to beat them yesterday with all odds against us. And again, we're just trending in the right direction, man. We just need to get Klay back on board. We need to continue seeing Luka back at his MVP level, and it's gonna be a great season. They just got to keep winning, keep pushing up the ranks, get that top seed, and stay there for the whole season. and you can have everything you want, Dallas. Telling you. Anyway, man, it's been your boy TGK. If y'all don't mind, consider leaving a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, become a member, join the Discord. Discord's free. Again, appreciate y'all being here. It's been your boy TGK. Hope y'all enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comments what you think. What you think of the analysis and the breakdown from the dunker spot. Thought they were pretty spot on. Anyway, man, it's been your boy TGK for the freaking third time. I'm going to catch y'all the next one, man. Adios.